a list of close to 20 reshonim that don't seem to fit in with the murex being the Techeles and Techeles. Some people ask,
3 p.m.
it's not their fault, the reshonim. They didn't have the Techeles. And I'll finish off the question, I'll fill in the blank. This is what they mean to ask. You can't blame them for making a mistake. They simply didn't have it, Chalila. That's what the end of the question is. They don't know. How could they couldn't have known better? I'll tell you over what I heard from Rabbi Daniel Osher Kleinman. He said, we live our lives based on the Messiah that we have from our Rishonim. Our approach was never, Chalila, whether it's an Ashkofe, whether it's Halacha, is never to say that the Rishonim didn't know something, they made a mistake. Rabbi Henkin brings down from the Vilna Gaon, how is it that Klal Yisrael's Messiah, for Doiret, for thousands of years, was so strong, we're so steadfast to our Messiah? How did that go? How does that happen? And he says that the Gemara says, Im reshonim keMalochim anu kibnei Adam. Im reshonim kibnei Adam anu keMalochim. If we look at the Rishonim at the earlier generations like their Malachim, then we could be like Bnei Adam. If we look at them like their Bnei Adam, then we're like keMalochim. What's the difference between a Malach and a human being? What's the difference between a Malach and a Ben Adam? The difference is that a Malach can never make a mistake. A human being is Metzias, characteristically makes mistakes. And the moment that we are willing to say that true, the Rishonim were greater than us, they were much smarter than us, they were on a different level than us, but they're Bnei Adam, they're people, they're humans, they can make mistakes. So then our Messiah gets washed down the drain. Because then we're like keMalochim. And the moment that we're willing to say that there's 20 Rishonim over here, and these 20 Rishonim missed the boat. They didn't know what it was. They made a mistake. Then if they're like human beings that could make a mistake, then anu keMalochim. We have to look at the Rishonim like Malachim. The Rishonim keMalochim, Malachim can never make a mistake. We don't understand maybe how they shtim with each other. There are Malachim, maybe Mashiach will come, we'll see what the Chilazim is, and everything will shtim. We don't know what it is. But we have to look at the Rishonim like they're Malachim Chalila. There's never a Paisik that will ever rely and say, oh, the Rishonim, they didn't have certain sciences. They weren't up to date on their archaeology. They didn't know what it was. They didn't have it. They were like sort of guessing, and that's what they came out, that Akasha, they answered it. Chalila, to say that a Rishon could make a mistake, that's not our Mahalach, not our Mahalach in Ashkaf, and not our Mahalach in learning, not our Mahalach in Sak. Like Kibalnu Mirabbi Seinu. To be able to say such a thing like this would put our Messiah into danger. Said over a Meiser, there was a Bocher in Philly. And this Bocher, Yad, probably didn't even mean it obviously so seriously, and he said he came up with, he was learning a K'tzais, and he had a Shverkeit with the K'tzais, and he says it seems that the K'tzais missed the boat. He said, Rebellia heard about this, and Rebellia called a shmooze for that night. Because of this, what the Bocher said. And he said, Rebellia stood up there, and the whole shmooze long he was crying. How a Bocher could even have in his head, how could he think that the K'tzais could have missed the boat? That's not the way we look at the Rishonim. That's not the way we look at the K'tzais who lived a few hundred years ago. let alone to think of reshonim like that, to think of reshonim of Amarayim, Chalila. That's not the way we look at things. And if 20 reshonim would look at this murex and say, no, that's not what the chilul to accept such a thing, that we know more, we're smarter, we're on top of their shoulders, we know everything they know, but we also know a little more. They're great and they're smart. That's not our mahalach. I'd like the next 2 or 3 days to go through the different paiskim, gedolim, the gedolei paiskim, the Rosh Hashivas, and go through who holds what, who said what about the murex. And we'll also get Mirz Hashem to the point of the great Shaila. Is it not a suffix d'oraisa that a person has to be machmer on? Maisa, we don't know. It's a suffix d'oraisa l'chumra. And at the very least, im lo yoyil, even if it doesn't help, lo yazik, it can't hurt to put it on. What's wrong with putting it on? Mirz Hashem will get there in the next 2 days.